Hello friends and welcome back to the channel. It is update time once again in the contest, and I'm here with the patch notes for the March 2023 update in mcoc. 6 or 7 things that I think you should know about. Let's jump right in. First off, so rather than a traditional side quest in March, they are introducing something called Incursion Danger Rooms. Now, this is a pretty big event, and they did put up a specific post on this I think in the forums yesterday. Well, it will have been yesterday by the time you're watching this video. I do want to point out a couple things specific to this. So the first thing is that you can do these solo or with a partner just like you do incursions today. You earn these things called components for completing these rooms, and then you can spend those components in the danger store for rewards. So really happy to see that. I enjoy any sort of side quest where you can kind of choose your own rewards. Next thing is that in terms of hacks, there will be a more limited pool of hacks in the side event than you would expect to see in a normal incursions run. However, the rare hacks, the ones that you get after you finish a room and beat the boss, are going to be permanent throughout the entire run. So normally in an incursions run, those rare hacks, they last for like 3 rooms, I think, and then they just expire and go away. These rare hacks in the danger room are going to last until you either quit out or finish the run. So that seems like it has the potential to give you some very silly and fun interactions. So definitely looking forward to see how that plays out. Next thing is that there are going to be 6 threat level difficulties of this danger room. Now normally there's only 5 in a side quest. They've added a 6th one. To my understanding, it's just for incursions and not 6 levels going forward permanently. So really curious to see what that threat level 6 is going to look like. And the last thing I want to point out is that I believe the bosses in these rooms are going to be next month's champs. And speaking of, number 2, Viv Vision and Kate Bishop are next month's champions. They were announced a couple of days ago on the official channel. Talked about them briefly on yesterday's official live stream as well. The animations for both of these champs are absolutely fantastic. So shout out to the art and animation team, absolutely knocking it out of the park for yet another month. So Kate Bishop is designed by my friend and alliance mate DLL, so I can't wait to play around with his latest creation. Obviously the spotlights for both of these champs are still under embargo, but I do want to say that it has been a hot minute since I was as excited for a champion as I am currently for Viv Vision. More info to come on her and Kate in the coming days. Number 3, the buff to OG Hulk is finalized and will be live with the March update. So if you missed it, I did test the Hulk buff live on stream a couple weeks ago, I think it was. Also put out a video with a few things that I thought were necessary to change about the buff. So the spotlight for him should be out right now. You can go check it out yourself if you want. There are a few key things that have changed between the version of the buff that I tested and the one that is going live, so I'll call those out right here. So first off, the degen resistance is now capped at 90% instead of 80%, which is fantastic. But better yet, you now get that max resistance at 20% health. This was something I specifically identified in that video that I just mentioned a second ago. Very happy that they implemented this. Should make him much more useful in degen matchups going forward. Second thing is that the decrease in subsequent stun duration has been increased from 40% to 60%. So every time you activate a stun, it's going to decrease the length of the stun by 60%. So this means that like lengthy stun locks are probably not going to happen anymore. In my opinion, this is much more balanced and was very necessary to make him a balanced character. And then third, the unstoppable effect from his SIG has been increased in duration from 5 seconds to 5.5 seconds. And to my knowledge, this is to account for the fact that you need to trigger it via a heavy attack, and then you need to wait for the defender to stand up. So they have an extra half second for the defender to stand up so that you can go in and smash them. Number 4, you may be wondering how the Hulk buff affects Variant 5, which contains a notoriously painful caustic temper path that was designed specifically for 1-star Hulk. And if you were around back then when Variant 5 came out, you know that the forums were absolutely littered with posts from people who were spending 3,000, 5,000 units on those champion crystals, trying in vain to obtain a 1-star Hulk so they could finish this content. So I'm happy to report that Variant 5 will be changing with this update, and that path, the Caustic Temper path, and an additional path in quest number 6 are both going to be changed. So going forward, the Caustic Temper path, including Mordo, which was the biggest pain in the butt fight in that content, going to be changed to Juke or Fight or Flight. So this should make much more champions viable for this path, especially with Juke, because that gives you additional Fury if you play correctly. And then the first path, Bleed Vulnerability and Stun Immunity, has been changed also to Juke. So very happy to see that. Now, I said a moment ago that this Caustic Temper path previously required a 1-star Hulk, but you may have noticed that the Hulk buff is only affecting the 2 to 6-star versions of Hulk, which brings me to number 5. All 1-star champions starting in March that have received buffs to their kits will have those kits reverted back to the original version. So I get that it's kind of inconsistent having a 1-star version of a champ that doesn't match the higher rarities of that champ. However, when you think about a player who is literally picking up the game for the first time and trying it, if they get their first 1-star champion and it's this super complicated kit, you've got Unstoppable, you've got Unblockable, what is intercepting if you've got Black Panther, etc., that would discourage them from maybe continuing to play the game. So even though you only use a 1-star champion for a very short period of time these days, there is an argument that, you know, having them all consistently be like the bland kits is probably better in the long run. So the champions that this will affect are Juggernaut, Gamora, OG Black Panther, and Hawkeye. Colossus, you might know, was never updated to his buffed kit, so he will remain the same. This also means that the upcoming OG Spidey buff will also not be applied to the 1-star version as well. Last but not least is next month's list of bug fixes and improvements. I have 3 of them that I would like to highlight for you here. The first one is this one. Hawkeye increased the window of perfect release to match Kate Bishop. So if you've played Hawkeye, you know you have to hold block during his special attacks, which triggers slow motion, and then you have to release your block at a specific point in time, and then you get a perfect release bonus. So from what I understand, the original version of the perfect release window was 2 frames, and the new version that matches Kate's is 3 frames. And I know that sounds like basically nothing, but I was assured that it is a noticeable difference. So if you are one of the few and the proud out there playing Hawkeye, congrats on that 50% increased perfect release window. All right, next up is Hyperion. So they've updated Hyperion's signature ability text to represent the way that the ability actually functions. So previously the text has always said increased buff duration, which is pretty vague. It has never been specified which buffs were affected by this duration increase. So in practice, only his Fury, Power Gain, and Regen buffs have been affected. This is the way it's always been working. The text is just being updated to reflect that. So Hyperion is not changing. Don't put your pitchforks down. They are also adding precision to that list there. So I'm assuming that only affects the precision from dexterity, which doesn't really seem like that necessary or big of a change to begin with. But hey, extra buff, I guess. All right, the last one is this one here with Juggernaut. Fixed an issue where Juggernaut was not immune to all types of reverse control effects. Now, I cannot recall offhand where this wasn't working. So if you remember a specific part or fight in the game where Juggernaut's reverse control immunity did not function, please let me know in the comments below, because I would love to know. In any case, he should be a hard counter to all types of reverse controls going forward, which is great. That's going to do it for March of 2023, folks. Let me know in the comments below what you are most excited about, whether it is the buff to OG Hulk or next month's champions, Kate Bishop or Viv Vision. I think for me, I am most excited about having a reason to go back into incursions with these danger rooms next month. And I'm already planning on some streams with some other content creators, doing some partner incursions. Maybe we'll do some with subscribers. That could be really cool as well. Folks, if you enjoyed this video, please remember to hit that like button. Be sure to subscribe so you don't miss any content. And as always, thank you very much for watching. We'll see you again next time.